there a particular reason, and forgive me if I missed it, why you didn't do content analysis on a daily basis?
Could you just explain to us a little more how you overcame biases related to editing?
So why not take those resources and allocate those towards, like you said, the problems, triangulation, things like that, instead of making it flashy? Isn't that more of a PR?
When you brought the video back to them, your finished product, and showed it to them, did you get any feedback from people saying, I think you misinterpreted what I said, or, I'm not sure you categorized me?
Normally I tend to be much more relaxed. Right now my hands are a little bit cold. I just wanted us to experience what it is to use probably what may be the most invasive tool that I can imagine for data collection, which is a camera.
So I have an idea of what I want to say, but I'm so busy trying to articulate myself and not say every other word that I can't keep my train of thought going.
There is a lack of understanding about research methods that really damages the way we weight the quality of the data that we have about what's going on in the field, just simply because we don't understand the tools to measure the quality of what we get. And that's a really grave problem, I think, when in many cases, despite all the politics involved in decisions about development, research is increasingly important in decision making. And it's kind of dangerous not understanding the quality and the gold standards of what's actually good data and good research. And this class is all about understanding and getting a good knowledge base on how to evaluate the quality of the conclusions or the inferences we make about what's happening in the developing world.
In terms of applicability to my job, this course is absolutely 100% applicable. I'm going into work with a new perspective.
So what I find normally with the students is that it's an eye-opener, and they become much more critical consumers of information, whether they're reading USA Today or they're reading the last World Development Report.
Because you don't know when you hear a statistic or anything about research, what the research methods are, what the rigor was.
And what we talk about so much is this pairing, the coming together of qualitative and quantitative research, when I always just assumed quantitative is everything, just because I've always felt that without quantitative you can't prove anything. Whereas if you don't have the qualitative, you can't have the background that you need to back up your quantitative study, because without the qualitative, without explaining what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you're doing it, your quantitative isn't worth anything.
I think it's in day-to-day choices. For example, we're doing analyses of both qualitative and quantitative studies. And so as I'm doing my own critique of our work, of the work that we're doing out in the field offices, it impacts what I'm presenting, what I'm writing about, how I'm writing about it, and not only that, but how I view our programs and how we can better them.
So when I go back to work and I read our segment on our methods on our website, I say, well, this seems great, and it is great, and it's probably, it's arguably some of the best methods available, but at the same time, this wouldn't work in a developing country for such and such reason. So it's really given me some perspective on the difference between the developing world and the developed world.
We were talking a little bit before in previous classes about how interesting video could be as a tool in international development. And it interests me particularly because of an issue that we're going to see next week, but that we've been dealing with for a long time. And it has to do with the politics of research in the developing world, and it has to do with the broken link in research in development, which is the link between research and dissemination, and another broken link between dissemination and utilization of research. Today is a special class. We're going to have Paul Baresi give his presentation. We're going to see 10 minutes of the video that he created.
I feel glad that you give me honor to join your activity and feel that you accept my potential. I'm very proud.
And then we're going to have a discussion. Participatory video makes it possible to finally get people in the field to be partners in research, getting rid of rhetoric. This is actually a way to get people to participate in data collection, participate in data analysis, and actually provide feedback about the messages we create about them, because video is universal. And it's a very powerful way to communicate to people and to share understanding. So I think that finally video can be the tool that can bridge the gap between academics in the ivory tower and development practitioners sitting in DC, and people actually in the field can tell us their story in a way that is feasible for them, to get people inside the story so that they can tell their story. And we're going to do a case study about an NGO in San Francisco that is coming this month to Haiti for reconstruction efforts. And they want to apply video as a tool for evaluation, needs assessment, and participation.
Be the best source of information for providing us with insights.
It says collaborating with universities on materials testing, so...
Engineers, maybe, because I remember that from when we were discussing that in class.
To be retrained in how to build earthquake-safe houses.
Because we're going to do focus groups and in-depth interviews using video.
Target it very clearly, like there's going to be 4 focus groups here, and there's going to be...
We need to, in fact, influence how to go forward.
So if we have them interview each other, I like this idea. So it's almost like we should film, key in on some people for stories, because that's where we're really gonna see this.
Yeah.
CNN just came in, so... Let's see how you handle the camera.
Okay. So basically,
we took the 5 goals that Build Change has set out for themselves, and that they want to do a technical study, which would obviously involve an engineering team, and housing designs, and research on materials, which would involve architects. The training, which would be some kind of mentorship program, raising awareness, which presumably some kind of videos or some kind of marketing campaign, and then the access to capital. We did a case study about an earthquake-resistant construction project in Haiti, how to understand the needs of the people that lost their homes in Haiti, how to understand local building materials, how to understand how the locals build.
the perspective of the people who had actually been impacted.
And just to get at the grassroots level and really understand the situation in the field.
This is why this is important to me, and this is a visual for you donor, you government official.
So we got students thinking about how to use video as a data collection tool.
To understand why we need stronger building codes, we need better, better trained builders and architects and engineers.
I think video would be very appropriate in that situation, and I think they understood it today. Because again, not many people think about video when they are thinking about evaluation in development.
I just wonder about the ethical implications of using video and who is editing the video, who's shooting the video, who's in the video, and who sees the final product. Because it does have an impact on the people who are being videoed.
Despite my cynical comments that I made during the discussion, I actually do have great hope for the use of video in research. Raul and I spoke about this a little bit informally in saying that it may be the next big thing in research.
It's a medium that's already being used. And especially you have maybe the more revolutionary people in whatever community are the younger generation generally. At least, I can take that specifically to Azerbaijan, where the people who are out protesting, et cetera, and the ones who want their voices heard are actually already using that medium. So it makes sense because it's not something that's foreign to them.
Millions and millions and millions of frames, but they had someone there sitting there watching 15 screens at one time and saying, well, this one animal did something different, and let's see what happens to them because they did something different. Do they have a different outcome? So just things like that. So there's just this huge possibility for using video and research that I don't think we've even begun to tap into just because the technology wasn't there previously.
So it's saying to the person, your view is important. Not only is your view important, but your actual perspective vis-a-vis this camera is important. And I think that it opens up people to be, this may be idealistic, but I think it opens people up to be a little bit more honest and feel more empowered.
I love to teach this class because people are so, get so into it. When again, it's supposed to be a dry subject matter. They get so into it, they feel empowered through understanding research methods, they finally feel empowered to actually understand issues and how to understand the quality of the knowledge that is out there.
Coming into this field and having this information, asking questions and realizing that those questions are not always well received by people who have been working and are well established, and even just the act of questioning itself is just not well received, let alone what you're actually asking about.
There is a lot of rhetoric in development, and there are a lot of fashions about development. So it's all about discourse, but without much weight. And in this class, or understanding research methods, is all about making people accountable for what they say. This class is all about, understanding research methods is all about accountability. And my students are able to finally, they feel empowered, that they feel that they are finally empowered to hold development gurus accountable for what they say. And I think that's a very powerful thing to have.
Hopefully I'll be using that to move into a development agency. Currently I work at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is a part of the Department of Labor. We analyze and report statistics there on the U.S. domestic economy.
I think about specifically my work in democracy and governance.
By day, I work as a project manager in the Office of the Secretary of Defense. I work primarily with communities that have been negatively impacted by defense decisions.
Research, you can argue that research is everything or research is nothing. Research is what pushes us forward, and it's, innovation, it's the next thing, it's the last thing and the thing before that.
I hope we have a good discussion and that the camera doesn't intimidate you too much. But this is how, respondents in the developing world may feel when, you bring a camera to a village. My name is Raul Roman, and I'm a young professor of, let's start again. My name is Raul Roman. Participatory video is finally, I think participatory video. We're gonna have fun here, I tell you.